Hope you're all right and coping with this time of life and season that you're in. Hope you're getting the right support around you that you need for your journey. Welcome back, and today we're going to look at a number of aspects that are going to be important ingredients in our recovery. So I hope you get something from it. You know, a lot of guys that come into recovery often believe this one thing, that if they just try harder, that they can fix everything with more discipline, more rules, more white knuckling, just to get through the urges. And you know, when that doesn't work, that word comes flooding back into our lives called shame. We'll tell you that you're no good, you're rubbish, you've screwed it up, your life's a wreck, you're a mess, and it'll keep us feeling terrible about ourselves. But today I want to be really clear and honest and say that willpower alone, the willpower we have on its own, is just not enough, because our addiction is stronger than our willpower. It will overtake it. It will have the final say. Our willpower hasn't been able to resist our addiction, otherwise we wouldn't be in the mess we're in. We would have conquered it and we would have sorted it. But sadly, that isn't the reality. And now this doesn't mean that you're weak. It doesn't mean that you're weak. Recovery fails when we rely on strength instead of systems and structure. And this is an important fact. What actually works is structure. This is an important thing we need to be putting into our lives. What structure does is it reduces fatigue. That's what it does, because it's the opposite of that. We're not all over the show now. We're actually more complete people because we're putting something solid into our lives. It creates boundaries before temptation will come back and attack us again and try and keep us trapped and feed us back into our addictive ways. Some examples of some structure are regular sleep. We need to be getting regular, I'd say 7 or 8 hours at least a night sleep, not going to bed at 3 a.m. and burning ourselves out. Regular eating and meals, really good for, obviously, it just is good for us physically, but also good for us ourselves mentally. Limiting any high-risk environments that are going to trigger us back into our addiction, whatever our addiction is. As I say, I'm not pressing into a certain element of an addiction. I don't want to do that particularly. I don't want to be focusing in on one thing, because it might be that that's not for you right now. So whatever your addiction is and whatever that high-risk environment will look like for you to be slipping into your addiction or to feed your addiction, we need to be escaping those situations, of course. We need to be putting distance between that's going to come back and hurt us. So we need to be fleeing those situations. Maybe planning and structuring our evenings. I know that particularly self-isolating in evenings is difficult for men. In general, I try and do something productive with my evenings, so I'm not just sort of on my own for hours and hours on end. Sort of, it will take you on a mental downward trajectory when we do that. So whether you're sporty and you can do something like running or swimming or a club of some sort of sports aspect, football or something, I don't know, or going out and just doing something with your evenings. Try structure your evenings, and replacing isolation with connection. So we're connecting with people and just trying to, you know, that's going to not let us slip back into our addiction when we're with someone, isn't it? So that's a good thing. So structure isn't restrictive, it's really protective. It's a really protective measure we're helping our lives with and being kind to ourselves with. It's not restricting us, it's serving a real positive purpose. And what it does is it gives actually our nervous system room to breathe, and so we can make better choices. It's doing something physiological into our bodies. It's actually doing us good on the inside. What also works is that lovely word accountability. Accountability is not punishment, it is not exposure, and it is not shame. Accountability means we're not carrying everything on our own. It's not good for us to do this on our own. It is difficult enough. Doing it with someone else, being accountable, is difficult in itself. The whole process is not easy. How much more difficult is it when we're on our own? It might be with one trusted person, it might be in a group. If you're in part of a recovery or support group, that's really, really helpful for you. Or regular check-ins with someone, or with a GP or somebody, a professional person, perhaps a counsellor, I don't know. Something that's going to be really, really beneficial for your life and help your journey no end. Addiction grows in secrecy. Recovery grows in complete honesty. Addiction grows in secrecy, whereas recovery grows in honesty. Honesty is the key, remember. You don't need to tell everyone your situation if you're not comfortable with that, if that's not going to be helpful. Maybe for loads of people to know what you're struggling with, often it's better to keep it to one or two. Maybe that's really sensible. I'd say it's good advice. Keep it small. Keep the people that know your situation, know your entire situation, as small as you can. That might be really good and a wise thing to do. So what also works is awareness and some pauses. Self-awareness with pause. Noticing patterns, noticing triggers in your life, pausing before you react. So we're being actionary and not reactionary. To do that, we need to put some pauses and some distance between how then we tackle stuff. A simple practice when an urge or an emotion will hit you is to pause and ask, what am I actually feeling right now? What is this thing? What am I feeling inside me right this moment? Often it's not desire. What it is actually loneliness, stress, boredom, or pain. And awareness creates choice. And choices will create for us freedom if we're choosing the right things. Okay. So, strength in recovery is not about never struggling, because we're all going to struggle. The strength in recovery is about building a life where struggle doesn't automatically lead us to self-destruct. Real strength looks like asking for help. That is not a weakness, that is a strength. Asking for help is the best thing you can ever do, actually. I wish I'd asked for help before it was too late for me. If only I'd reached out to somebody, I could have perhaps saved my marriage. Would have had more chance of my addiction not progressing, and I would have saved all the pain and heartache of the last 5 years that I've been through. Speak to somebody, reach out, set some clear boundaries, slow down, don't rush 100 miles an hour, take some time, pause, it will help you. And be honest when it's uncomfortable. Maybe honesty is something that you've never been. Perhaps being honest is something you've just never, ever been able to be with anyone, let alone yourself. Perhaps your whole life has been steeped in shame and secrecy and lies. And now honesty is the most difficult and painful thing you've ever known. But let me just say this to you. There comes a point in time in your addiction, in your recovery, where you have to be honest. You have to be honest or you can't move forward. You have to lay the cards down. You have to say, this is my addiction in its entirety. This is what I've done, or this is the damage it's caused my life. And that will be freeing. That will be so helpful for you. It will be necessary, but it will bring you healing, inner healing to yourself, I'm telling you. Not easy to do. It places you in a very, very vulnerable position, and I'm aware of that, and I understand that that's not an easy thing to be. But you need to be honest with the right person. Choose your friends wisely. Choose somebody trusted, somebody really trusted that you can be level with and be honest with, even when it's uncomfortable to do so. So if willpower hasn't been enough for you, which it won't have done, because as I say, your addiction would have been harder, your addiction would have been stronger than ever your willpower will be. It's proof that it has been. It's proof that it has been, that our willpower hasn't been able to stop us from our addiction. But we're not failing if that's the case. We've just been using the wrong tools. We haven't understood how to be different. We haven't had the chance to be different We haven't been strong enough to be different. Perhaps we haven't been able to speak out to someone through shame, through silence, and perhaps we've tried to suffer it on our own, and it hasn't worked, and it's destroyed our life to a point at the moment. But recovery is built on structure, it is built on accountability and awareness, and with the right tools, change is absolutely possible. So guys, keep going, don't give up, reach out to the right people you need to. If you need the right recovery or support group, try and connect with that. If it's Alcoholics Anonymous, if it's Sex Addicts Anonymous, if it's the nationwide mental health support group, Andy's Man Club, I can recommend that. I've been to some of those sessions. They're helpful. It's a really helpful space where you can bring a level of honesty. Maybe you're not going to divulge your whole addiction in that sort of setting, but you can just say, hey guys, I'm struggling at the moment with my mental health. I'm struggling to sleep. I'm struggling with this. I'm struggling in this area. There are often other people who are going through similar stuff to you that can support and help, and you can probably network and find good friends out of places like that. Hope that's been helpful today. Take care. See you on the next one. All right, all the best, guys. Don't give up. Keep going.